Okay guys, so about a year has passed since the release of Total War Pharaoh, and what a ride it has been. I think it's safe to say it has been a disaster of epic proportions.
Wait, what? I thought you liked the game.
I do, but it's not about what I think. Let's take it back a bit. In mid-May 2023, rumors started spreading after a leaked image of the title surfaced, which got many of us wondering. A few days later, on May 23rd, the announcement trailer dropped, revealing a historical Total War set in the Bronze Age, slated for release in October the same year. Generally speaking, there wasn't much hype around this announcement. My impression was more like people were asking, where the is Empire 2 or Medieval 3? Personally, I wouldn't say I was hyped, but I was curious and a bit excited about a new release as usual, even though the Bronze Age wasn't exactly the next time period I expected, nor was it on my top 3 wish list. In the months leading up to release, we got more gameplay showcases like the first looks, deep dives and all that usual stuff. Bigger YouTube channels got early access to play some battles and show us the gameplay. If there wasn't much hype before, there certainly wasn't any now. Two major points of criticism here were that it looked too much like Troy and that the price was too high. And let's be honest, the demand for a Total War Bronze Age just didn't seem to be there. As we got closer to the release date, it became clear that the Total War Pharaoh was going to be dead on arrival. And it was. I gave the game all in all a positive review because I found it fun, and I stand by every word here. I did, however, misjudge the fairness of the price. Many reviews were negative, and the data speaks for itself. The peak number of players was only just above 5,000 according to Steam DB during the month of the release, quickly dropping to below 1,000 just 2 months later. I have trouble describing how bad of a release of a Total War game that really is. We can compare it to another rather unpopular game like Thrones of Britannia. That game had over 22,000 peak player count during release, and it took 2 years to drop below 1,000. This didn't help Creative Assembly already dire situation and led them to reassess how to proceed with Total War Pharaoh. 2 months later, they announced some changes. They dropped the price to $40 basically, and partially refunded those who had already bought the game. They also eliminated multiple editions, leaving only one, and communicated that the upcoming updates would be free of charge. This was welcome news, but let's not mistake it for an act of charity and act of good faith. It was a business decision to stop the bleeding and limit the losses. Moving into 2024, we got the first updates with the High Tide DLC, which introduced the Sea Peoples as playable factions. Soon after, the Blood and Sand DLC was released, finally adding blood effects. This should always be available at the very beginning as a free DLC, by the way. But the big final update on its way was Total War Pharaoh Dynasties, which brought a lot to the table. The most significant addition was a massive map expansion, which made the Bronze Age setting feel more complete by adding the Aegean and Mesopotamian regions. Their absence was a major point of criticism as well. The Dynasties update essentially made the game what it should have been from the start, and it received some very positive reviews on its new Steam page. But where does Total War Pharaoh stand 1 year later? Did Dynasties save the game? Objectively, it's still a disaster of epic proportions. Despite being enjoyable in my opinion, again, the numbers just don't lie and my own opinion becomes quite irrelevant here. The game has been seeing a significant player count increase and more positive review, yes. But the truth is that the sales numbers are still miles away from previous games. It's honestly a sad sight when you start comparing owner estimations between the various Total War games. The sales for Pharaoh will of course pick up over time when we start seeing bigger discounts and all that stuff, but let's be honest, it will at best get on par with Thrones of Britannia sales. I fail to see how the game will ever reach and exceed 1 million sold copies, which pretty much every other Total War game have by far. Total War Pharaoh clearly struggles to compete with previous Total War titles and simply doesn't give players enough reason to play it over other installments like Rome 2 or Warhammer 3. For the majority of the player base, it becomes quite clear that Creative Assembly has released another subpar product. And that's the problem, right? Imagine like anyone, Apple, releasing a new iPhone, which doesn't give people incentive to buy it. It's bad business. I only touched on some reasons for this, but I think one major factor that shouldn't be overlooked is the choice of the time period. While many people do love the Bronze Age, it's clear that most players aren't interested enough in it. Tell me what you think. I love and care about Total War and its future, and I genuinely hope that the next historical release will be a banger of epic proportions, set in an era with broader appeal to the community as a whole. That's what we need, that's what we deserve. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more Total War action, see you in the next one.